All right, good Friday morning, everybody. It is Friday, December 6th, about 8 a.m. West Coast time. What a week. Lots of news this week. Welcome to whatever this is with Hawk. I'm Hawk. I'm your host. Um, this morning I read that Elon Musk spent over $250 million of his own money to help elect Donald Trump. And I saw one of my mutuals on TikTok this morning talking about the end of democracy really got underway with the Citizens United decision from John Roberts' Supreme Court uh, around 15 years ago or so. It's really hard to argue with that at this point because Elon Musk spent $250 million dollars of his own money to help Donald Trump. There are all kinds of tech people out there, and I forget her first name, but the widow of Sheldon Adelson also gave Trump $100 million, and you had this Timothy Mellon, bank heir and recluse, contributed like $150 million to Donald Trump. It's like you got a handful of 7 or 8 people that essentially gave Donald Trump $1 billion to run for president. And there are no guardrails, there are no safeguards. It's the best investment that Elon Musk ever made. I mean, he spent $250 million of his own money, which is a drop in the bucket for Elon Musk. And the day after the election, his net worth went up by over $16 billion from the stock market and the valuations of his stocks and his companies and whatnot. Spend 250, get 16 billion. How do you argue against that in capitalistic terms? In terms of democracy and, where we're going for the next 4 years, it's calamitous in every way, shape, and form, but, whatever. New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who had previously been a Republican, but then ran as a Democrat, and now he and almost every member of his administration are under indictment, has hinted that he's going to switch back to the Republican Party because, he's also a fan of Donald Trump. So this whole thing of voters learning what they're actually voting for. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that over the next 4 years. Donald Trump was quoted in an interview with Newsweek. I never really believed that inflation was as important as immigration and the border and stopping our country from being invaded. I always really felt that immigration was bigger than inflation, which explains why he killed the bipartisan immigration bill, because that would have taken that issue away from him during the election season. Boy, howdy, Donald Trump is sticking with Pete Hegseth, his nominee for Secretary of Defense. Okay. And this is a direct quote. Donald Trump said that Pete Hegseth's support is strong and deep. Cool. Trump's not making any phone calls on his behalf. He's not lobbying senators. And he's already, let it leak that he's going to pick Ron DeSantis to be Secretary of Defense if Pete Hegseth drops out. Maine Republican Senator Susan Collins, in a rare moment when her brow is not furrowed, had a private meeting with Elon Musk yesterday and came away very impressed with his energy and dedication. His dedication to doing away with the entirety of the social safety net so that money can be funneled into his companies. I added that last part. Yes, Susan Collins is very impressed with Elon Musk's energy. Okay. So is Tucker Carlson acting as a back channel to Trump? Tucker Carlson was in Moscow again this week, and he's in constant contact with Donald Trump. While the former Fox host is positioning himself as a dove of peace, toiling to prevent a nuclear war, Putin's acolytes say Tucker Carlson is also acting as a carrier pigeon for the Russian president and delivering private messages to Donald Trump. So that's how Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are communicating with one another these days, through Tucker Carlson and probably through Elon Musk as well. That seems completely fine and reasonable. Speaking of Russia, Tulsi Gabbard's views have been shaped by Kremlin propaganda. Former advisors to Tulsi Gabbard suggest that her views on Russia and its polarizing leader, Vladimir Putin, have been shaped not by some covert intelligence recruitment as far as they know, but instead by her unorthodox media consumption habits. She's a stooge. She's a Putin stooge. And so speaking about her, speaking about Pete Hegseth, we'll talk a little bit more about him in a minute. Nearly 100 former U.S. senior diplomats and intelligence and national security officials have urged Senate leaders to schedule closed-door hearings to allow a full review of the government's files, including the FBI file, on Representative Tulsi Gabbard. The former officials who served in both Democratic and Republican administrations said they were alarmed by the choice of Tulsi Gabbard to oversee all 18 U.S. intelligence agencies. You think about Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr. Senate confirmation hearings are public. They are televised. Democrats will be prepared for those hearings should they go forward. I'm very much looking forward to the confirmation hearings for Kash Patel, who Trump wants to turn into his director of the FBI. Those confirmation hearings are going to be wild because he's insane. Pete Hegseth's is going to be similarly interesting, as are Tulsi Gabbard's. The FBI has a file on her. And RFK Jr.'s is just going to be a shit show. But the confirmation hearings, if these people stick in, if these people don't withdraw, those confirmation hearings are going to go forward. They are going to be televised. We will be able to watch them live. And Democratic senators will be very, very, very prepared for those hearings where they're questioning these nominees on live television. The early morning killing of a top health insurance executive in Midtown Manhattan on Wednesday. That was just the day before yesterday. Doesn't it feel like it was like a couple weeks ago? Has unleashed a flurry of rage and frustration on social media over denials of their medical claims, a public display of America's pent-up anger at the nation's complex health insurance industry. United Healthcare and its CEO, Brian Thompson, I believe his name was. Last year, they had $100 billion in revenue. They had $6 billion in net earnings. And their cancellation rate for claims for their customers is twice the nationwide average. They make money by denying coverage to people who have paid them for insurance coverage. Think about that just in business terms. You sell a product and you make more money when you prevent the people you sell that product to from actually using that product. What the hell kind of business model is that? You factor in to that within that process, when you are successful in denying claims to your customers, they get sicker, they stay sick, or they die. Yeah, I would imagine. I said this before. It's like I can't imagine. And then we learned that the shooter engraved deny, defend, depose on the shell casings for the bullets that he used to kill this guy. Can you even imagine the list of potential suspects in this case? Because what he wrote on those, what he engraved on those bullet shells tells me that this shit was personal. He was avenging someone who died as a result of a decision made by United Healthcare. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Donald Trump is putting together an administration of unprecedented, mind-boggling wealth, smashing its own first-term record by billions of dollars. He's putting together a government of billionaires. All of these agencies and departments, many of them, are going to be run by absolute billionaires who hate paying taxes, who hate the regulatory administrative state. They hate Social Security. They hate Medicare. They hate Medicaid. They hate social safety net benefits and programs across the board. Trump voters have no idea what they voted to and what or voted for and what Donald Trump's administration is going to do to them. It's just, it bums me out that we all have to go along for the ride, but here we are. House Republicans have killed the effort to release the Matt Gaetz ethics report. They voted it down again in a meeting of the ethics committee yesterday, Thursday. And I think the full House also voted not to release it, 206 to 198. Here's what I don't understand. All members of the ethics committee had full access to that report. They all have copies of it. The ethics committee has 5 Republicans and 5 Democrats on it. It's surprising to me that none of the Democrats on that committee nor any of their staffers have yet leaked a copy of that report to the press. Pete Hegseth has called for a new Christian crusade. This dude loves the Crusades from medieval times. He really loves the Crusades. He just does. He's got a couple of now associated with white nationalism, white Christian nationalism. He has a couple of tattoos that go back to the Crusades. He loves the Crusades and he wants to have another Christian crusade because that's who you want in charge of your nuclear weapons. Boy, a tough few weeks coming up in the Senate. They're going to work 5 days a week. 5 days a week. The Senate is going to work 5 days a week. It's a reflection of their busy schedule and the number of things they have to get done. So the Senate now has to work 5 days a week. I'm sure they have all of our empathy and sympathy in that regard. Texas Senator John Cornyn said on Thursday that he is very confident that Kash Patel will be confirmed to lead the Federal Bureau of Investigations, where he has already said he is going to use the FBI as a tool for Donald Trump's vengeance against the media, against reporters, against anyone involved in impeaching him, investigating him, indicting him, prosecuting him. Kash Patel, he kind of screwed himself in that regard, I think, a little bit, because he put out a book a little over a year ago called Government Gangsters. It's all about, the deep state. And he put a list. He published a list in his book of like 100 names. And here's my list of people that I'm going to prosecute. And now apparently Joe Biden and the White House counsel's office has a copy of that list. And they're like, hey, maybe we should pardon all of these people right now. And Joe Biden still has, 6 weeks to do that. I hope he does. Kash Patel telegraphed exactly who he wants to go after. I really do hope that the Biden administration pardons every single person on that list and expands beyond that list as well, to include people like Jack Smith, the January 6th committee, everybody who worked for Jack Smith, everybody who worked for the January 6th committee, Fonnie Willis, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, people in their offices, the judges who have overseen these prosecutions of Donald Trump. I mean, if I was Joe Biden, I'd be looking at pardoning 500, 600, 700 people in that regard. But that's me. A few minutes before I was recording this morning, I was going through some news stories, and I found one that confused me. And I was on the phone with my brother Falcon when I was going through this. Elon Musk wants to eliminate electric vehicle tax credits. And like, I know now, I think currently that if you buy an electric vehicle, including Teslas, you get a federal tax credit of $7,500, which means you can write off $7,500 of the purchase price of that car. It's a program that's designed to help people buy electric vehicles as opposed to traditional combustible engine vehicles that run on gasoline and fossil fuels. And I said to I asked Elon Musk wants to eliminate that tax credit. And I asked my brother, I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why would he do that? And he was like, well, first of all, Elon Musk is mentally ill. But he said, he made the point that, Elon Musk has had a 10-year head start on these things. And during that 10-year head start where he was like, Tesla was the only game in town, they got absolutely massive federal subsidies, including things like this tax credit. And now that Elon Musk has competitors like Rivian and some of these other companies, Elon wants to pull up that ladder behind him that he used to climb up to where he's at right now. And this is one way to do that. So I appreciate, as always, my brother's understanding and wisdom of things that I don't fully understand. And as always, appreciate his contributions to this. All right. It's 8:15 in the morning on Friday, December 6th. We're heading into the weekend. Everybody, please have a fun and safe weekend. Please be safe. Please take care of your physical and mental and emotional health as best as you can. We still have 6 or 7 weeks before Inauguration Day. So it's like the real fun hasn't even started yet. Yeah. Please take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you.